Y'all see this shit? It must be nice. What kind of goddamn country exactly do we live in? Woo! You already know. This is an episode of I Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm your girl, Msniquerevamp. Let's dig in. So, Uvalde School District police reportedly no longer cooperating in state's investigation on the mass shooting. I wonder why. It was the wrong decision. Did police in Uvalde ignore their own training? Well, we know damn well the answer to that question is absolutely. I mean, did they even have training? I mean, what did that training course actually consist of? It appears that that training course may have been served better as just a free day of work. I mean, considering none of the shit that they said in the manual actually happened in reality, what else would you call it? Did they get free lunch? I mean, was their lunch catered? I mean, I'm sure they got paid for this training. I'm just saying. Oh, there's more. Hold on. Here we go. So Tuesday, a spokesperson for the DPS, Lieutenant Olivares, I might have said that wrong, but oh well, said on national TV that at one point on Tuesday, police officers at the scene decided to focus on evacuating students and teachers around the school instead of racing to the shooter's location, even as they heard gunshots. He reports that they kept hearing the gunfire as they were doing this. Now, mind you, even though there were other officers focused on rescuing, the other teachers and students in the school, there was at least 19 motherfucking officers in the hallway outside of the classroom that this gunman was barricaded in. So I'm saying, there was enough officers on the scene to be able to both evacuate the students and the teachers who are in the rest of the school and take out this gunman. Okay? That brave child, a student in room 112, called 911, y'all. That same baby called 911 at 12:10 to report that multiple people had been killed. Again, 3 minutes later, and again at 12:16 p.m. to report that 8 to 9 students were alive. My God, that baby, single-handedly is a fucking hero. Oh my God. But wait, there's more. That baby's last call was at 12:16, and it said the gunshots could be heard on the 911 call at 12:21. Now, of course, they gonna say it remains unclear whether the information was relayed to the officers. But I'm gonna tell you it had to be, because ain't no way in hell a 911 dispatcher is receiving that many calls from one consistent number and ain't passing that shit on to the ground. I'm just saying. I can't make this shit up. There's more. I had to come back to this though. So, the audacity you have to decide that you are no longer cooperating with an investigation when you are the person that usually investigates criminals and things like that. I've actually been looking for the 911 call itself in totality, and because of the media, it's been chopped up so many times. This is what I have for you though. So, listen to this shit.
What appears to be dispatch audio informing officers on the scene that a child is calling 911 from a classroom, advising that he is in a room filled with victims. We don't know at what point in that 78 minutes this happened. Listen.
You have a child online. Child is advising he is in a room full of victims at this moment.
DPS Director Steve McCraw told reporters on Friday that there were at least 8 911 calls from at least 2 separate callers from inside of the school, covering a span of nearly 50 minutes.
So now we know, according to the data, gunshots are the leading cause of death amongst children in America. Okay. And this is actually the top 5, according to that same data. Right here is Asa Hutchinson, who actually served on the NRA Safety Task Force for school shootings after the Sandy Hook situation. Let's dive into his interview, y'all. I chopped it up to all the relevant points. Oh, did I fail to say he is also the governor? Okay.
On an NRA school safety task force in the wake of the Sandy Hook school shooting, all things I mentioned, because Asa Hutchinson is here with us. Governor, good morning. Thank you for being here. Look, we got a lot of problems in this country. There's a lot of things we could talk about, but school shootings and shootings in churches and in supermarkets, they loom. School shootings and churches and supermarkets, they loom really large over our culture, and people are wondering, is there nothing that we can do to stop them? You said Sunday there might be a bipartisan group of governors who can look at solutions. What might those solutions be?
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you, and there's probably not a more important topic than the safety of our children at schools. We've done a lot in Arkansas. Back in 2018, we had a school safety commission that made recommendations on enhancing the security of our schools. We've made a lot of progress in that area. We send billions of dollars that I support to Ukraine. We can also put in the money that's necessary to protect our schools and to protect our children there. That, to me, is the focal point of the conversation. I know that there is another side of that, which is mental health and how we're dealing with that in our schools. What do we do about an 18-year-old being able to go out and buy an AR-15 that does that kind of damage at the school? And I've simply said that that's a fair conversation to have, that I fully support the Second Amendment. But we also can legitimately look at what the senators are considering, and I applaud them to having a bipartisan group that looks at what can we agree upon, and we can have a conversation about whether there ought to be a age 21 requirement to acquire one of these AR-15 military-style weapons.
It says a lot about the state of our politics. It's a big move to have a conversation, right? I know you feel the same way, Gail.
I do, and I keep thinking when we talk about the Second Amendment, I still say they were talking about muskets, Governor. They were not talking about the firepower that we have today. And don't we have to make adjustments for that? It seems that we all love children. We all agree that this is terrible. We wring our hands and say how horrible it is till the next one happens, and it will happen again. Why is it so difficult to get this right? Why is it so hard to have the uncomfortable conversation that nobody should have an assault rifle unless you are a trained professional and you're on a battlefield? Why can't we just at least come to terms with that? I don't understand it.
Well, I think that we should not restrict the type of weapon for those that are over 21. And so there are limits on the weaponry that civilians can have. But we really do not want to take away the right of our citizens to protect themselves, to enjoy it, whether it is a type of gun that is a semi-automatic. We have those, and it's just the age limit between 18 and 21 that I think is a fair part of the debate. I think we need to look at that more deeply.
Nobody wants to take weapons from responsible gun owners. That's never the debate. I'm still hung up about these assault rifles that cause tremendous damage, as you well know. I'm not telling you something you don't know. And that we just continue to allow this to happen while we profess our love for children. I had one mother that says to me, we are sleeping with our guns and crying over our guns and letting our children die.
It's a high cost for this absolute freedom you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
And is it worth that?
America is not going to be Europe. We're not going to have the gun restrictions that even Canada is looking at. And, in Arkansas.
We're the only country where this happens, though.
Right. And listen,
where this happens.
We understand that this is a great country.
Yes.
We can all agree with you.
Yes,
but I feel like we are failing. We're failing our people. We're failing our kids. And you mentioned mental health. We're not being dismissive of that. We're talking about these assault rifles. But why is it that it happens so much more often here in the United States versus other places? There's mental health issues in other countries. It happens so much more often here in the United States versus other places. There's mental health issues in other countries.
We have to be careful about this conversation. One constancy, though, is we can protect our children with better security in the schools. It did not work in Uvalde. We can improve that. We can invest in that. And that's an important part of it as well. So I applaud the senators that have all of this on the table. And we have to get away from being so divided and say, is there something we can agree upon? It's going to be narrow. It's going to be focused. But the question is, will it make a difference?
Well, Governor, it's not just schools. It's concerts, churches, festivals. It's concerts, churches, festivals. There was a shooting at a car show in Arkansas. This isn't just about shootings in schools. Mass shootings happen everywhere in the United States.
Sure. And the private sector is taking steps. You go into a shopping center, they have security guards there. We're protecting our private sector venues. Well, let's protect in an equal way and even a more important way our schools.
Yeah.
And to me, while that might not solve what some want to do with more gun control, it does protect our citizens, and that's something that is absolutely essential.
Yeah, it is a high cost, again, to freedom, though. You go to the mall, you see armed guards. You go to school, you see armed guards.
Right.
That's a different kind of society.